Hey, welcome back to Rabbit and Red Reviews. I'm Eric. Today, we are going to be taking a look at Chivas Regal 18-year-old. It being my first review of the new month. Each month this year, I am kicking off my reviews with reviews of older whiskeys. So we're going to be taking a look at the Chivas Regal 18 today. So a little bit about Chivas Regal 18. This is a blended Scotch comprised of both malt whiskeys and grain whiskeys. They say there's up to 20 different grain and malt whiskeys blended into this Scotch. All of them are about 18 years or older. Regarding, this is the ABV. This is 40% ABV, so it is right at the legal minimum. There is nothing on here about color added or chill filtration, so I think we can assume that they have added E158 colorant to this and that this is more than likely heavily chill filtered. So I've put a little bit in the glass. It being an 18, I wanted to give this an opportunity to air out a little bit before we start on it. Take a peek at the color. As I said, most certainly color added to this. Chivas Regal is one of the most popular names in Scotch. This is definitely one I would say is, made for the masses. Really, really big company, Chivas. I think their main rival in the blended Scotch industry would be Johnnie Walker. But this is something you can find pretty much anywhere. I think, this is a name that pretty much anybody would recognize as synonymous with Scotch. So let's get into the nose, taste, and finish of this. I'll talk a little bit about the value and give you my final thoughts and score this. So right away on the nose, I'm getting kind of a sweet and sour. Apple, definitely like red apple, green apple, both kind of happening here in the nose. There's also a bit of cream soda, kind of a caramel, vanilla also there as well. It doesn't say what this has actually been aged in, assuming that American oak casks are definitely part of some of the whiskeys that are blended into this. Yeah, definitely getting some spice too. Some hints of cinnamon, some nutmeg, toffee as well. Also a little bit of an alcohol note. So despite only being at 40%, still picking up a little bit of that. Okay. Let's give it a taste. Let's launch it. This is surprisingly complex. Initially, fruit, sweet and fruit on the nose. Very sugary. I'm getting apple, pear, maybe a hint of pineapple, watermelon maybe. It's very well-rounded, medium body. So it's not super mouth coating, but it's definitely got some decent viscosity to it. Getting a bit of that caramel again. It's not, it's almost like a little bit of an artificial caramel flavoring, but it's not bad. Definitely getting some barley grain notes, some toffee as well. And there's a little bit of citrus. Yeah. And a little bit of an astringency from an alcohol note as well. Decent amount happening in this. Finish, it's relatively short. Actually is now kind of mouth-watering. Chocolate, vanilla. A little bit of a pepper kick to it. Say like black pepper. So some kind of cola notes as well. Kind of lingering, but it doesn't hang around too long. This is, like I mentioned, only at 40%, but put a little bit of water on this and see what happens. Be a little too much, but we'll see. So on the nose, the addition of water actually kicks things up a notch a bit here. So that sour, that sweet and sour is definitely taking center stage here on the nose now. The caramel and vanilla are there, but a little bit more in the back seat. Taste. So that watermelon note, definitely picking that up a lot more now with the addition of water even. It's very much a sweet, sugary, fruit-forward initially on the taste, but as it develops, the water, it does dry a little bit, getting a little bit more of that grain and barley note as well. But yeah, the vanilla and the caramel have kind of taken a little bit of a backseat to the fruitiness, but it does seem to kick up the complexity a little bit. Interesting. So this is what the bottle looks like again. All Chivas bottles are kind of shaped this way. Some of them come in boxes. This is actually a 1 liter version of the 18. So it didn't actually have a box, but basically all look this way, kind of the classic Chivas Regal bottles. Regarding the cost on this, you can get a bottle of this for, I think, anywhere from about 60 to 75 bucks US. Obviously a really solid price for an 18-year-old. Okay, so final thoughts. I don't really mind this one bit. I mean, for a blend, you could do a lot worse. And this might be one of the better blended 18-year-olds from a big multinational kind of for the masses distillery that you can really find. Pretty relaxed. It does have some nice complexity, as I mentioned, especially with the additional water, and decent price. I mean, this is not going to blow your mind, but I could definitely see myself, having this on hand for those days where you're just like, just want to have a quick glass of scotch. You're not quite sure what you're looking for. You don't want to think too much about it. It's good for that. It might also be good for, having guests over, and maybe they're just getting into scotch. This might be a decent older scotch to share. But boy, it would have been amazing if this was bottled at 46%, even 43%. I think it could do a lot of good to bring out even more of the flavor and complexity of this. But no, it's not bad. I think I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5. Would be my score on this. So I do recommend trying this for sure. And as I mentioned, with the good price, grabbing a bottle of this, you're not going to be too disappointed. All right. Till next time. We'll be doing a couple more videos this month, so I look forward to seeing you all again. Sláinte.